Good. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So hey everyone, this is Ali Saeed. I am the Marketing Automation Practice Lead here at 4C in Dubai. I've also been privileged to be the Marketing Cloud Community Group Leader in, for the entire Dubai for the user group. Today we have three amazing speakers who have kindly accepted to join us to take you through a series of demos, product information. So what I would like to do is say thank you to Philip Schweizer and Deepak John, who decided to help me out with this first user group in Marketing Cloud. So Philip, I would like, if you guys would like to do a quick round of intros. So Philip, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll briefly show my face here. I don't know if people can see me. I will switch it off afterwards, but thank you very much for the introduction, Ali. Also, great pronunciation of my last name. I know you were practicing. But I'm I'm a co-founder and the CEO at SalesWings. We're the B2B studio for the Marketing Cloud. And yeah, I'm based in Switzerland, here in home office right now, and I look forward to the call.
Thanks, Philip. Deepak?
I'll go next. Thank you, Ali. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm a B2C specialist here with Salesforce. So hello from a lockdown London, from my home again. Very cold outside today. A pleasure to be with you. So today I'm going to walk you through a bit of new capabilities on the Marketing Cloud platform, specifically what our CDP offering is. So looking forward to speaking with you soon.
Thanks, Deepak. And we also have Pavan.
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Thanks for joining. My name is Pavan. I'm a senior solutions engineer at Salesforce. What that means is I'm a product specialist here at Salesforce on the Marketing Cloud. And today I'm going to be speaking to you about an application I developed that's freely available on the App Exchange that gives you visibility into customer journeys on the Sales Cloud side. So happy to speak to you all today.
Thanks, Pavan. So for the guys on the call, I am recording this session, so I'll be sharing this recording in case you have to drop off. So after the call, so I'll be sharing this on LinkedIn, and I have added my email address to the slides. So if you guys really do want to get in touch about the content, if you want to get in touch with Philip, you can always reach out to me, and I'll be happy to introduce you. So that's my email address on the slide. So ali.saeed@we4c.com. So please feel free to get in touch, and I'll be happy to connect you to either to Deepak or to Philip and Pavan if you wish to know more about the actual technical integration for the App Exchange. So to get started, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'll hand it over to Philip, and he'll be taking you through to on SalesWings.
Great, thank you very much, Ali. Let me share my screen here. Just let me know when you can see it.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, so thanks again, everybody, for your time and attention this morning. And I will present you today SalesWings, which is the B2B studio for the Marketing Cloud, and we deliver fuel for truly impactful digital sales and marketing actions. And to start, just about us, SalesWings has a global client base in many different industries. We work with companies of all sizes, all the way up to the enterprise, and also different industry verticals. I want to be discreet here about our customers, but you'll find some of them on the website. I've been around for about 5 years now, and going strong into 2021. So right now, quick agenda here. So we'll talk a little bit about the problem we're solving. Then, of course, it's demo time. Don't want to do too much theory here. Also, I think interesting for some of you who are specialized in the Marketing Cloud is how we position against potentially some alternative solutions. And then, of course, if we have more time, questions or anything that you would like to discuss. So want to go back a little bit in time when we talk about the problem. So in the past, of course, companies, were doing advertising out of home, straightforward, reach people through magazines or elsewhere. And those leads, if you'd like, would go into stores, and it was easy to create a great customer experience. Now, today, you all know the problem, and that has only been amplified in 2020, is that companies are losing a little bit of control over their leads and customers in the digital world. Leads are farther away than ever. Sales reps can't visit them anymore. They have to do inside sales and whatnot. And we do know, of course, that digital evaluation, not only B2C but also B2B, is heavily digital. We know as well that reps are not confident in this environment. And last but not least, even for B2B, the buying experience is becoming increasingly important, which is why Marketing Cloud is becoming the tool of reference for B2B marketing as well. Even though, as you know, originally it was more of a consumer-focused product. Today, B2B leads and clients want to be reached omni-channel. So the customer experience happens online. And of course, the Marketing Cloud, as I mentioned, is the preferred tool. You have a wide range of studios and email, social. You have advertising studio. Of course, here missing is an interaction studio and CA360, a set of tools to generate a massive amount of leads for business. But what about these leads? How do you manage leads using the Marketing Cloud? So of course you have Salesforce CRM. You can also connect any other CRM to Marketing Cloud, but leads sort of have been left apart. Now, of course, that means salespeople are tapping in the dark. There's a lot of leads generated, but how can marketers identify which leads need to go over to sales and what the right timing is to hand off a lead to a sales team? And also the sales teams themselves, they're used to tools like lead scoring. They want to have sales insights. They need to have this visibility into the digital journey. But Marketing Cloud, unfortunately, let's say, it doesn't have its strength in that area. So that's where SalesWings comes in. SalesWings provides a set of very powerful and intuitive tools to create strong sales and marketing alignment, to bring together and coordinate marketing engagements with sales follow-up. So SalesWings really is a suite. It's a platform that integrates tightly into the Marketing Cloud and into the Sales Cloud to enhance the funnel along a set of areas. So by the way, I want to mention here, so of course, B2B Studio is the name, but keep in mind a lot of B2C companies like insurance, like automotive, like real estate, they all have those sales teams, and they need to align marketing and sales to be effective. So here, I wanted to show you this picture just to give you an overview of how we engage together with our customers. So here we see the marketing and the sales funnel. At the top, you have prospects, anonymous visitors to a website, for example. So website is a central point where clients today are looking for information. So SalesWings will track these leads early on. We understand how they've arrived to our client's website, and we provide our customers with a simple way to identify these leads on the website. We can deploy SalesWings on the website in 5 minutes, and we're going to detect all the existing web forms on that website to collect leads in real time and qualify them instantly for marketing and also for sales teams. So this lead qualification is not only happening for new inbound leads, but marketers, of course, with the Marketing Cloud are running a wide range of journeys and they need to understand when a lead is becoming sales ready over the course of a longer buying cycle. So SalesWings identifies interest, qualifies these leads from a needs perspective, but also from a timing perspective, to ensure smooth alignment and hands these leads over to the sales teams to then provide rich sales insights. Now, Pardot, for example, provides some of those insights. Marketo has a popular functionality called Marketo Sales Insight. Very expensive, but these are the kind of things that companies are looking for when coming over to the Marketing Cloud. Sometimes it's somewhat important, and in other situations, it's simply going to break the deal. So before I go into the demo, I just want to give you the rundown of the functionality set that SalesWings brings in a compact solution. We have plug-and-play customer journey tracking. We have a quickly deployed tracking script that pushes activity into the Marketing Cloud in real time and also into the Sales Cloud. And we can also ingest, by the way, activity over an API, or, for example, from Google Tag Manager, where a lot of clients have existing triggers set up for tracking and analytics. SalesWings provides a flexible way to collect data about how leads behave. We have an enterprise-grade, no-code, and really user-friendly lead scoring solution. Our clients can create multiple scoring categories in a very quick manner, and SalesWings also provides services around these tools. We have an interest-based profiling and qualification tool. So based on how leads behave, our clients can identify interests in products or services, interest in topics, and more. We enable an automated sales and marketing handover. So SalesWings does not want to develop its own solutions when it comes to providing, how can I say, we don't intend to replace, Marketing Cloud or Salesforce functionality around lead assignment and lead, prioritization, as in using lists and leveraging lists, which is why all our data is native in the Marketing Cloud, but also in Salesforce, in custom fields and custom objects to enable this handover using the existing tools the clients also use. And we have very strong sales insights to help the sales reps really understand what a lead is doing that's potentially 500 kilometers away from him when they reach out to them. And I want to mention here, SalesWings can be used standalone together with the Marketing Cloud. The Sales Cloud is not necessary, but of course we have a great integration there as well. As I mentioned, we do have these native integrations, and to talk a little bit about the architecture as well, because I know we have some technical people on the call. SalesWings is a microservice. We collect and process our data in real time, and we do push the data, as I mentioned, into data extensions in real time for any kind of behavioral marketing or lead qualification within journeys. And we have a managed package, and we're going live on the App Exchange in just a few weeks, also to push all the data natively into the Sales Cloud for maximum flexibility. But let's jump into the demo. It's demo time, so grab your popcorn and whatever you got to drink. I assume a lot of you are having some coffee right now, but here I'm gonna demo how SalesWings data can be used. And I want to take Deloitte Digital as an example. Deloitte Digital is not a SalesWings customer. I allowed myself just to use this example for the demo, but here you can see how SalesWings will enable highly personalized and timely engagements for a potential company like Deloitte Digital. So I'm tracking myself locally here on the website, for just so you know how everything is coming together. And we imagine that a lead, has been doing research on Deloitte Digital and finally reaches out to the company. Now, happens to be this lead is Mark Benioff, so I'm just pretending now locally that I would have submitted this contact us form. It's a typical case of a inbound lead coming in, but remember, in some occasions leads also just submit a newsletter request, and these leads just go into the dark. They end up on some list, and there's ultimately not a lot of happening with these leads potentially. So what I will show you now is what we call the SalesWings cockpit. So the SalesWings cockpit is where all the data comes together. Now, remember, our customers are working in the Marketing Cloud and in the Sales Cloud. So this is where we visualize all the data. It can also be used as an extension to the CRM, but most of our customers do want their sales teams to work inside the Sales Cloud. But I will show you this now to explain you a little bit how the data looks. So Mark Benioff is right there. We see that he has engaged a few seconds ago on that website. We see how SalesWings has profiled Mark as a lead. We see interest in Salesforce services. We see engagement with Google Search. We see interest in specific topics. We have identified engagement with specific campaigns, just use generic names right there. And we see Mark's a potential partner, of course. Now, when I click right here, we are seeing some of the insights SalesWings is providing and some of the raw data that we collect. So we can provide some profile and company data aimed at lead qualification. But we do also show a lead summary. This is shown in the Sales Cloud to the reps, where they can see where the engagement is happening. User-friendly, low training, easy to understand. And you can see here as well multiple scoring categories we've set up. So we have a strong interest in the Salesforce CRM services, and a little less in the Marketing Cloud. And we also have a generic score. Some of our clients have a single scoring. There's no need to add complexity to a marketing setup unless there is a true need. And of course, we also have this activity history, which provides an understanding when these engagements did occur. Now, how does that look within, well, our favorite tool, the Marketing Cloud? So SalesWings is connected within about 10 minutes to the Marketing Cloud, and we push all the data, as I mentioned, in real time as changes occur into a data extension. So here we see some of that data. So we see the ID, we see email address, last website engagement or last activity date, in fact, if you want to nurture leads that have been inactive for a set amount of time. We see our predictive score. SalesWings not only has a user-based point scoring, but we automatically compute current level of engagement to get the timing right, to understand when a lead becomes active again after being silent, for example, and ultimately surface the hottest leads to the sales team at the right time. Now here I have prepared as well a data extension where I just filtered out Mark based on the tag filter. So the tags, remember, great way to create data to create more personalized journeys. So we see Mark right here. And here we see how we simply put these tags in a text field. Very easy to make decision making. And then use these for a journey. So I did want to show you as well how easy it is to set up some of the configurations. So I'm going to the settings now. You have a central place where you input some of this information. So now I'm just simply going to create a new tag. Now I'm imagining, so we have here on the Deloitte website, let's say Mark's also interested in digital reality services. I want to identify leads from the past, but also moving forward who have this interest. I'm going to give them a tag. Give it a color right there. And I could, for example, say, well, I'd like that the visited URL contains digital reality services, and as soon as they visit that page, I want the tag to be applied, but only if we also have identified already interest in AI and cognitive tech. These are typically blog posts, I assume, Deloitte's has, and of course, different specific resource sections. So based on this, all the leads will get this tag, which is then available for segmentation or reporting or whatever that is. So I believe Mark does not have it yet. There you go. Whoop. So now I hope Murphy's not going to show up. So I'm just going to, he does show up. So I think the Deloitte.com is not tracked. Well, would have been surprised if Murphy wouldn't make his presence right here. So the Deloitte.com, I didn't manage to get tracked today locally, but you get the idea. So it's really easy to set up these rules and create great results then moving forward. Now, how do clients use this? So picture we've identified this interest in AI and cognitive tech. Well, based on this, in real time or just within a few minutes, our clients or Deloitte could then add them to a journey around AI and cognitive tech. So here we can imagine they enter the journey right there. We want to create that lead in Sales Cloud. Times of keeping leads outside of the CRM are a thing of the past. You want to make sure you have all the leads in the Sales Cloud, regardless if they're sales ready or not, in most situations. How else are you going to understand whether, why a lot of them have never been qualified, for instance? So here we would create that lead. We would immediately send out, a thought leadership piece around AI in 2021. And we can then here, access the data in SalesWings, actually in the data extensions, to qualify that lead. So qualified leads should then be assigned to a rep. So here, often we see companies have unassigned leads and we'll add them to a lead queue then using Journey Builder. Maybe also create a follow-up task and of course, then continue that journey. If not ready, well, just continue nurturing until we see that lead become sales ready. All right, well, so Murphy again, let's see if that's going to load. Now, how does that look in the Sales Cloud? So marketing's doing their thing, lead has been handed over. A lot of clients we see, they're working around lead lists or contact lists that are simply hard to prioritize. It's just everything looks the same. SalesWings allows for prioritization of leads, contacts, also accounts, and opportunities. So with SalesWings, a lead like that, would of course then look different. So we see here Mark showing up at the top of the list. We see 11:30, so we have 13th, 11:21 was last engagement. He's a warm lead, he's got a good lead score, and he's a fit A. So SalesWings also has a lead grading and fit scoring solution where you can score and grade based on any data you have in the Sales Cloud. So that includes standard object and field data, but also custom object data can serve as a base for scoring or grading. Now, moving forward, so I'm obviously, Mark showing up in my lead list or contact lists. Good reason to have a look. Wanted to mention here, a lot of companies also use a process builder to simply do that handover. So whether that happens in Marketing Cloud or Sales Cloud is subject to the client's unique setup. Now, as a rep, remember those sales insights. I'm having a look here at Mark Benioff. Well, of course, I can see the overview section with the predictive score. I can see the points, potentially other scores that are relevant for me. And I got all these rich sales insights right there available. So here's marketing truly enabling sales be successful and make the maximum out of the leads that are being generated. So it's going to be hard to reject a lead for sales if you can back it up with lead scoring. So here's a typical conflict. Salespeople complain about poor leads. Some occasions that's true. It's because marketers often don't have easy to use solutions to actually send over good leads. Here, within a couple minutes, I got a full profile of my lead. I'm not going to waste 10, 15 minutes on Google or LinkedIn to get more information. I have the tags, understand the overview of the interest. I have the summary telling me, of course, where most of the activity has happened. And I do have this full activity history. Now, you're probably wondering, well, obviously, this is a Visualforce frame, but all the data is also native in Salesforce. So you have the tags and you have the individual activities for reporting. Now, SalesWings has sales teams in mind, and we also give marketers, tactical tools to engage, to alert the reps. So here's, for instance, a Slack channel we've set up where you can see an alert about, a interesting lead of mine that has visited. Another way, an optional way to enable sales with a strong sales weapon is what we call the Chrome extension. Chrome extension shows browser alerts and can be flipped open on any page I'm working on. And right here I can see, so by the way, this is another production account, which is why the data looks a little bit different here. But here I have instant access to a lead to get that timing right. And that's really like a very important element of success and successful sales and marketing alignment. Now, furthermore, account-based marketing and account-based sales is also very important these days. And we see companies where sales teams work a lot around leads, others work a lot with accounts or even opportunities. So we do push data up to the accounts. We see here, Salesforce, last account activity, 11/21. We have an account predictive score, matches up predictive scores, etc. So we do have this ability as well. And of course, here, if I open Salesforce as an account, here I would see, well, what are the tags? Remember those colorful tags that have been collected by contacts. And once again, remember, these are summarizing interests, preferences, campaign engagement, whatever is a relevant data point for me as a sales manager or marketer to be more effective. Another way we create sales and marketing alignment is around campaigns or different topics one more time. Imagine Deloitte Digital has a dedicated team to sell AI and cognitive tech. Well, how can a marketing team hand over leads explicitly interested in those topics? Well, once more, SalesWings can here create reporting. So I'm just going to say for my sales team, I want a report showing all the accounts, provide all the accounts that have actively shown interest in AI cognitive tech, whether that's an engagement with an ad we have live, or something, or simply browsing the resource section. So here we have a short list of these accounts that a sales rep can simply use and consume. And by the way, for instance, also subscribe to that and get a daily email alert straight from Salesforce with new leads that are highly qualified in my domain. SalesWings also obviously provides some dashboards here, understand my funnel health, and a few further data points. Very quickly, wanted to show you the fit scoring solution as well. So I'm not going to go into detail, but once more, we have a standalone solution running 100% on top of the Sales Cloud, providing fit scoring and grading based on standard and custom object data for our customers. We did this natively, by the way, so no data is leaving the Sales Cloud. This is important for security and privacy, just to give you a bit of background. So SalesWings brings a range of enhancements because we enable more personal journeys and more relevant journeys with our behavioral segmentation. You can enhance open rates for your company or customers, looking at more click-throughs and less opt-outs, because of course the information then is relevant. Getting the timing right and understanding when a client is actively evaluating a supplier and making a purchase, well, means you lose less clients to competition because you get the timing right. We have a clean process of lead handover, sales and marketing alignment, and strong visibility into the needs of every individual lead for sales reps to do their job best. Want to quickly also position us against some of the other products out there. Going to keep this very high level. We have only a few minutes left, and I want to give the others also their time, of course. I want to disclaim here, of course, SalesWings doesn't have a full view into the product roadmap of every competitor, so subject to rectifying whatever I'm saying. But I think overall, if we look at SalesWings lead profiling and sales and marketing alignment and insight capabilities, I would simply like to point out we're a best-of-breed solution. While Marketo, HubSpot, Eloqua, and some of these other tools do offer functionality in that area, it's sort of part of the core, whereas we are strong experts in these domains and really provide a solution that can outcompete those competitors. Again, otherwise, don't want to go into too much detail. I think SalesWings is, overall a very quickly deployed, easy to use, and also a highly cost-effective solution. And the other one, of course, are Salesforce itself has a range of product. Einstein for Marketing Cloud, as you know, has also some scoring capabilities. In this area, this is more focused at campaign enhancement, send time optimization, overall understanding certain preferences. So we see these more being useful for B2C. Interaction Studio is a solution that we also come across, of course, more and more. Interaction Studio is strongly focusing on next best engagement from a marketing perspective. It doesn't have sales and marketing alignment tools, nor does it have specific sales insights or sales enablement solutions. And we are looking as well at being able to connect to that data source. I will keep everyone posted in the future. Einstein, of course, analytics is a BI solution, not to be compared, not to be confused with scoring in any sorts. And of course, Einstein for Salesforce is the Salesforce native lead scoring solution, where we see this focuses on providing a global propensity score of various objects versus a more granular scoring approach with multiple categories. And also, SalesWings can actually act as an input to Einstein. For instance, the behavioral information is data that lives in Salesforce, and Einstein could access that as well. So components, I'm over time, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but we have, of course, a marketing intelligence package. We have the Sales Insights as an add-on with the Salesforce integration. We have profile data that you've seen, also for companies that want to get more data and facilitate lead qualification. And that's the end of the demo. Sorry, I rushed a bit through in the end, but once more, we have some great presentations coming up. Invite you also to check our blog. We just published a great piece with Elliot Harper, who's looking at Marketing Cloud and Pardot and how these compare. And also, please do reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am very happy to network and help any one of you or your clients with any request. All right, that's it for myself. Ali, back to you.
Thanks very much, Philip. That was fantastic. That was great. Great content and great demo. I do want to open up quickly for 1 or 2 questions if anybody has one for Philip before I hand it over to Deepak. Okay, looks like no questions. Deepak, are you good to go?
I am. There's one question that's just come through, Philip, if you want to pick that one before.
Yeah.
SalesWings uses cookie or browser fingerprinting to track user activities.
Yeah. So thanks for this question. So SalesWings has developed a fingerprinting solution around 2017. And when GDPR was obviously announced and coming up, and we saw a very strong, we saw changes to the regulatory environment around tracking and consent, we decided to hold off with fingerprinting. We're using first-party cookies. The benefit of cookies today is it's still very accurate overall. It allows a company to be compliant with laws by managing how and when cookies are deployed. And also, cookies still are the best way, or one of the best ways, to allow a website visitor, for instance, to have a company respect their privacy. So we are closely observing how things are moving on. Of course, there are rumors and plans to completely sunset cookies, and we are preparing for that as we speak. Yep.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. Deepak, over to you.
Thank you. Wow, how do you follow on through a presentation like that? Half an hour. Not going to touch on these. Not going to touch on any of those controversial topics. We're going to talk about something happy here. Salesforce's new capabilities and solutions, and our foray rather into the CDP platform. So I'm hoping you can all see my screen. I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yep, we can see it. Yep.
If you've got questions, please put them into the chat, and then I can pick them up as we go through, or maybe at the end as well. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to walk you through, or rather, I'm going to walk you through a few slides rather, in terms of what we actually think the CDP means, because there seems to be a lot of confusion in the world as to what a CDP is and how it's grown. Then I'd love to show you a quick overview of the platform itself in its current incarnation. It's a really nascent product. There's a few capabilities that have been introduced right now, capabilities being introduced at the end of January, and so on and so forth. So we'll walk through that. You can all see my screen. Excellent. All right, cool. So the classic Salesforce set of slides, right? Let's skip the talk track and let me talk to you in how I think and what it actually means, right? At the end of the day, you and I, we are consumers, and we actually know what good looks like. So we expect companies to understand our needs, our expectations, to deliver that experience, just the likes of Amazon and Netflix. And especially in this pandemic, more and more now that we're in lockdown, the companies that are providing that level of service, they're the ones that kind of help shape that differentiation as people decide to stay on with the brand and so on and so forth, right? Now, the flip side, and that's the number that you see, 73%. Now, the flip side to this is how customers now begin to use data without explicit permission. And I know there's a new regulation coming in the UAE to support individuals like you and I. And if marketers can't deliver personalized interactions in this ingenious and trusted way, then customers like you and I, we're going to walk away from the competitors. So as a marketer, that we all are, we have this fine line to walk in making sure we get this right. And if we reflect internally in the organizations that we work, as marketers, it's quick to see that the root of this concern, it's even a bigger problem. And that's probably not even related to marketing, right? So it's about how do you use data? How do you coalesce data from different sources around a strategy for personalization to drive growth, reduce cost? And when different teams are using this, the classic scenario where you've got sales and service and marketing, they're all working on a different view and a different concept of what the customers look like, and they're obviously incentivized towards fulfilling a different set of KPIs. If you're a marketer, it's about opens and clicks. If you're a salesperson, it's about the volume, the velocity at which you can get leads in, and the close rate. So typically, you'd have an email manager using a platform like Marketing Cloud. You've got the service team who may be using Salesforce's Service Cloud. They may be using, and KPIs to measure would be things like NPS scores. What else? The average time to open and close the ticket, right? And then you've got the web analytics team in all of this. That's looking at bounce rates and the time that you spend on a website, either using Google Analytics 360 or Adobe Analytics. And so this is where a platform like a CDP comes to its own. So in the next set of slides, I want to walk you through what Salesforce's view on what the CDP is, a customer data platform. You know, we all love acronyms, customer data platform, and what we see the evolution is. So everybody suddenly has heard this new technology and this new concept of a CDP, but it's not really a new thing. Not if you think about the natural evolution of how it's gone through. I've been privileged to be part of this journey for a while. Not that it shows my age or anything, but I've been part of this journey when we were starting to think about the master data management solutions back in 2000. I used to work for a company called Informatica, and there was this big beast of a solution called an MDM solution that was, again, given to marketers and given to business with that promise of how do I unify my customer data and how do I see that single view of my customer and empower my business to think about how I can effectively engage better with my customers. Now, the CDP is the latest way to describe that evolution of CRM over that last 40 years. We've gone from a very IT-centric view of a database marketing back in the day, you know, SQL, all of those things, to more real-time offerings lately. And each of those technology, they've allowed marketers to do more and more with the customer data, and importantly, do it faster with less dependency on IT and less heavy lifting. So from a Salesforce perspective, we just think of CDP as CRM 4.0. And I say CRM in jest, because if you think about what CRM actually stands for, customer relationship management, that is true and true what every single technology that's invested in the business should be doing. So as Salesforce, we feel we're more than qualified than anybody else to talk to you about a CDP, but more than anything, own that market to help define what that category looks like. Now, we've been speaking with customers for many years about what it is and how it's all going to pan out. And the proof of this, if you think about this, is one of these little charts that you see here. This was a survey by the Advertiser Perception Study a while back, in which said about 60% of the respondents said Salesforce is their CDP platform. Now, why this is interesting is when this survey was asked, Salesforce did not have a CDP. it wasn't until June, July of 2020 last year that we actually had a CDP offering per se with the name. But what was interesting for me when I looked at this was marketers, based on what they could do with Salesforce, they were handling highly sophisticated use cases from a CDP perspective. So it just shows you what sort of perspective people have, but also how unorganized that whole category of a CDP is. So if you kind of want to build a definition and you've got your pens and papers out, this is probably what you may be writing down. When you start to think about CDP, there's two schools of thoughts, or maybe two principles when you think about it, how you can begin to get unified profiles and begin to build that golden customer record. So from the experience that we have across the world working with customers such as yourself through the RFPs that we've been trying to figure out how to do a CDP, there are two of these categories. One of those sit squarely within this systems of data organization, and the other one sits within this category of systems of engagement. Now, engagement is what we think of as real-time engagement, right? Real-time databases where all of your customer profile is hot and ready and accessed in milliseconds for you as a marketer to decide at this moment in time, what's the next best action? What's the next best offer? And this is about website personalization as well, right? The other side of this, that's the slower moving set of data. So this is like what you classically define as your golden record of your customers, where you do your customer segmentation, enriching data from external sources, propensity models. They don't need to be as real time, but they do need to be more flexible in the way they can begin to bring in data from external systems, capture, unify. So your classic ETL, extract, transform, and load, right? So as Salesforce, we've been able to bridge both of those gaps together. You see a little asterisk in the middle on that log there, to call it the Salesforce Customer 360 Audiences Platform, CDP. So let me walk you over to the next slide here. Right, so how does this fit within the Salesforce ecosystem, right? So if you've been researching, seeing how Salesforce has been growing for the last 20 odd years, you know that as a business, we've started off from sales into customer service, into marketing, into commerce, into application development, Tableau, now Slack, which is collaboration. So the perspective is external facing, your sales and service and marketing and commerce, but also internal facing of collaboration internally, trailblazing, right? The trailhead modules that you have for enablement, not just with Salesforce, but also internally. Quip, another platform for collaboration, Chatter, and so on. So where does Customer 360 fit into all of this? So we'd like to think that Customer 360 is that golden circle that you see, which represents truth. So Salesforce 360 truth. That begins to build that single source of truth, rather, for all customers at that center. And the CDP solution is a step in that direction. It's one of the steps. It's not the end goal, but it's one of the steps in that direction. So if you start to think about what that truth looks like, there's a few components, right, involved in doing that. Number one, the Customer 360 Data Manager. This is what's going to help you resolve all of your customer identifiers into a single Salesforce ID. So within a business, if you say customer 123, who does that refer to? And then you've got Salesforce Identity, where you can have that single login for all of your teams, whether that's service, sales, so on and so forth. Then you've got Salesforce's Privacy and Governance. That's helping you govern the complex data privacy issues and the rules in the markets, right? So how do you make sure people are opting in? How do you make sure you're sending those emails to those people who've opted in for a particular type of marketing? If they've said opt out, what sort of opt-outs have you taken, especially the organizations in the Middle East where you've got multiple brands under them? And finally, Customer 360 Audiences, or C360A. This is Salesforce's answer to the CDP, the Customer Data Platform. So as part of the truth sets of these products, C360A, it sits at the center of that ecosystem so that you can integrate, and the profiles that you can construct and pulling that data can be activated across the entire ecosystem within your business, not just the Salesforce platform. So this is the platform in a couple of screenshots, and we'll go into it in a bit more detail. So it's effectively, from what you've seen and used of Salesforce, it's meant to be self-service, right? So it's meant to be business user driven. It's meant to be marketer friendly. And for me, the most important thing, it's actionable. It helps marketers digest their data from all of their siloed systems. It helps build that single view, that unified profile. And importantly, you can actually do something with it. So you can take these profiles and action them on any engagement platform. So again, a moment of pen and paper. So if you kind of break down into capabilities of what the platform actually does, so if you start to think that little blue box, those are the key capabilities. Number one, data ingestion and unification. So it integrates and connects with your data sources, right? So it could be your web, could be different channels, could be back office, ERP, loyalty systems, and the Salesforce ecosystem naturally. It pulls all that data into Customer 360 audiences, and it applies an identity matching capability with the end goal of stitching together to form that golden customer record. And once you have that golden record, you can ask all sorts of questions to that data and take actions from that systems. What would you do? Right. Most important, you'd want to segment and enrich that data. So you'd want to decide who goes into what categories for what marketing purposes. And again, you'll see this in the demo through drag and drop attributes and capabilities, but also you're enriching that with external sources, maybe propensity to buy and so on. Next, you've got capabilities to manage the consent with things like GDPR and CCPA in California, and the new one coming in the Middle East as well. So once you've got that internal view, then it's about activating and pushing that out, right? So taking all of that clever segments that you've built based on propensity, based on how you think you should be engaging and why you should be engaging with those customers, pushing that into engagement platforms like the Marketing Cloud platform for execution on emails, social media, but also Journey Builder, right? And then finally, with doing all of this, have we actually moved the dial? Have we actually moved a measure in terms of everything that we're doing? It's fine to say there's a certain set of capabilities and it's a big investment by saying single unified golden record of your customer. But with that, as a marketer, what have you actually done in order to support your business needs, whether that's increase in sales, increase in visits to the website? So this is where the platform like Datarama comes in, pulling all of that data to unify, to analyze and visualize engagement, all of your marketing analytics needs. So with that, let me walk you through the marketing platform here. I'm going to pause there and maybe grab some questions if anybody's got any questions at the moment. Okay, I'm going to assume no. And we start off on that little demo. Ali, how am I doing for time?
You have plenty of time. You've got 15 or 20 minutes or so.
All right, cool, yeah. So this is, again, we're going to do this demo with the standard NTO, Northern Trail Outfitters platform, to walk you through the capabilities, right? So we looked at, let me just quickly go back here. So these 5 capabilities: unify and identify. How do you segment? How do you manage the consent? How do you activate and then analyze all of this? We're not going to go through every single one of this, but there's this in principle what the C368 will deliver. And we're going to look at some of these capabilities today. So again, cloud-based solution. Let me hide this. Cloud-based solution. So it's a platform that is built on force.com that we all come to love. Right, and in this case, we're going to look at NTO, and we're going to look at how NTO is using the 36080 ingest and unify from multiple sources, and also build targeted customer segments as well. So as I'm scrolling down the page, you can see the total number of records within the platform, millions of customer records, and we can do the segmentation and do all of this at scale. We can also see, excuse me, we can also see the segments by status of whether they've been executed, pushed into Marketing Cloud or an advertising platform. We're also seeing the recent data streams. What are the sources of information that are actually coming in, whether that's Marketing Cloud data extensions, Salesforce, Service Cloud, predictions that are coming from Einstein, and also the different segments that as a marketer that we've built for execution and that we've pulled out here. So let's go ahead and explore the rest of the platform here. So the first place that we probably start to think about is how do we bring data into the platform? So this is where the data streams come in. And let's actually start with creating a new data stream. So you hit new over here, pretty straightforward. And at the moment, we've got a number of data sources that are coming out of the box. So you've got Marketing Cloud here that allows you to get data extensions and bring in other attributes. Then you've also got Sales and Service Cloud that brings in your standard Salesforce objects, cases, accounts, contacts, that sort of thing, and bringing that data together. You could also bring in third-party sources at the moment through AWS buckets, S3 buckets. You would also have a streaming API to directly bring in data into the platform as well. So Wizard, hit next. And then made to be user-friendly for the marketer who's using Marketing Cloud, we can bring in relational databases based on email, mobile, studio capabilities. So this brings in not just the main data extensions, but also the associated data extensions. Or you can go in and bring in the associated data extensions manually as well. And again, you've got the option of selecting which business unit that you want to be working across, and then using that to get your data extensions come through, right? So all of the ones that you've pushed into Marketing Cloud, you've got access to in here. And then you'd select, hit next, and bring that in. Let me open up, close. Let me open up one of the data extensions so we see what it actually looks like, the data streams rather.
Deepak, we do have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Ali. I can't see the question.
Yeah, sure. Would Data Studio be integrated with Audience Studio and act as a data stream input?
Very good question. So if you think about what we're trying to achieve here, it's to empower the marketer to be in absolute control over the experience for that customer. So in order to do that, you do need to have the unknown side of the data come in as well. On day one, what we have launched today, that does not exist. So it is absolutely on the roadmap, and we will have an ingestion path from the anonymous data to the known data side as well. So this will be the same platform that a marketer will go in to do segmentation for both known, unknown, and piecing that data together. I hope that helps. Anything else, just keep putting it into the chat, please. All right, I'm just going to carry on with the demo here. So what did we talk about? So we talked about how we get data in from either Marketing Cloud, Service Cloud, or the buckets. So we're looking at a data stream in here. And in this data stream, as you can see here, we've got, when it was run, the classic attributes, the metadata associated with that, number of records that have come in, who's actually processed it. And again, because it's all force.com, you can begin to collaborate with your colleagues over here on the right-hand side with Chatter. Over here, you can see what are the fields that have been brought into the platform, right? And you can see the sources. So there's an API that's naturally associated with this because it's inherent to the force.com platform. You've got all of your attributes and the names here. And you can see loyalty ID is what we're using as a primary key in order to uniquely resolve and identify individuals and bring them on. So you've got 10 fields that have been mapped 10 to 10. Now, if I show you what this looks like, this is nothing more than, if you're used to Marketing Cloud, as you progress through importing a data source, you'd say these are the source fields, and these are the fields that we have within our data extension. How the CDP helps a marketer is by having a pre-built model. So this is based on an industry standard model, that name, which escapes me at the moment. It'll come to me in a second. It's an industry standard model that's been approved or worked through with the likes of Amazon and Google and so on. So you've got attributes in here. And again, for a marketer, it's nothing more than click, click to map attributes on. So if I hit the little pencil over here, you can see that standard model has attributes from pretty much anything that you would need as a marketer in order to map data points on and build that single view of your customer. You've also got the ability to add in custom attributes as well in order to do that mapping. So that's the custom data model over here, and you can build your attributes in that data model. So you've got one here from the Einstein side of things for the predictive recommendations coming through. So this is a quick and easy way for a marketer to say, I need data coming in from source A, source B, and tomorrow source C, but I need to be in a canonical model. It needs to be brought in. So how do I do that? very quickly, I would do that through here. But there's also clever ways in which you would begin to do rules and logic here in which you can begin to cleanse and standardize that data. So think about lightweight ETL capabilities. So your transformation from date formats or your lookups to say my attributes are coming in from gold, silver, bronze as priorities on my system level, it's mapped as tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. How would you do those lookups? So this little box over here allows you to do those mappings as well. And you can see some calculated fields here like loyalty points in here as well. So at this moment in time, we've brought the data in, we've done some cleansing to it, and we're moving that data into our canonical data model that we can work through. It's called the cloud information model, by the way, this model that you see over here, in conjunction, in collaboration with the likes of Amazon and Google and so on. So once the data comes into the system, the next set of things that we would want to consider doing is how do we uniquely resolve this into an individual? At the moment, this is just data sitting in a bunch of tables within Salesforce. So that's where this identity piece comes in. Now, identity is being able to resolve your data attributes and to say, based on all of my data coming in, I'm able to match that into individuals and then unify them as individuals. How do we do that? So the way we would kind of go about doing it is one with explicit exact match rules, where we're saying an email address must match an email address on the other side. And the capabilities that are coming out, we're going to be doing fuzzy matching as well. So you do probabilistic matching. So for example, if you've got James and Jim, could they be the same person as you're beginning to do that match? So that's the rules that you would define over here, and you can define the criteria of how you would match that. In our case, we'd use maybe the loyalty ID, the subscriber key, the cookies. So this is the question to how do you bring anonymous data in? So this is in the future where you could begin to bring in cookies and other anonymous identifiers and doing that. But also importantly, as you begin to build that unified view, you've also got to think about reconciliation. Let me give you an example. So if you've got multiple systems that you're ingesting data to build that unified view, and they all give you a different perspective on what that customer looks like. Case in point, right? Your marketing system says the customer's preferred language is Arabic, but your call center or your service cloud system may say, no, 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 it's English. How do you resolve that to say what is the golden record and what is the truth for that customer? What is the preferred language for that customer? This is where the reconciliation rules comes in. And we can define various different strategies, the most frequent, the latest one, and so on. In this case, for example, primary language, there we go, most frequent one. So if you've got 4 systems that give you the primary language as English and 1 system giving you the language as Arabic, you can in some shape or form say and ask Salesforce's CDP solution to say, for the purposes of building that golden record, I am going to take English as the truth. Because 3 systems have told me English, 1 system hasn't, so aggregated all of that, it's going to be English. And you can change what those rules look like as well. And this is super, super important as you begin to build that golden record. Which systems do you trust? And if you go back into big data a couple of years ago, right? So you talk about velocity, volume, and there's this another V, which is called veracity. That's the truthfulness of that data. So this is what the reconciliation rules actually help you with. So take your data, unify all of that data into matched individuals, and then bring that into individuals that you can effectively engage with. So that golden record. Excuse me. So at this moment in time, you've got these individuals that you have. Then the next set of steps as a marketer is about how do I engage with them? What can I actually do with that data? So this is where you begin to define your either your activation. So again, in our case, we've got Marketing Cloud and a few other sources that are defined. Let's see, all activation targets. Marketing Cloud, you could push that back into Interaction Studio, back into Service Cloud if you need. And in the future with APIs, you can stream those as well. So once you've defined your target segments, you know exactly how you're going to engage with them. You go define who is it that needs to be sitting into these target segments. Now, if you're familiar with Marketing Cloud and the way segmentation works, it's very similar to that. It's very similar to the way in which if you've ever used Audience Builder, so that's a segmentation tool, it's very similar to that. So you'd be having your attributes, whether that's native to the platform or whether that's external to the system or whether that's computed, you would bring those in and then you would drag and drop. So this just shows us a number of segments that we have, how many people, whether they've been published for execution, and so on and so forth. So there's a bunch of segments. Let's pick some good-looking segments in here. I'm sure there's a loyalty segment somewhere in here. All right, let's pick a good loyalty segment. Where am I looking? Glasses, loyalty. There we go. Let's use that one. So you can see this has been picked and published and mapped to a platform. So at this moment in time, there's a lot of things happening in the background. It's unified all of that, and it's taken that data, added it with other attributes to say, okay, we're going to now publish that individual. And again, you can publish that, or you could do that at a later stage as well. If I hit edit rules over here, this is the classic segmentation, right? So you've got drag and drop capabilities, you've got the attributes here, which are the individual attributes that you begin to be able to say, this is how I define an individual. Then you can do calculated attributes of customer lifetime value, engagement strategy, propensity to buy, and so on and so forth. So let's just drag and drop loyalty points in here. And again, your classic way of segmenting in Marketing Cloud, where you would add your attributes in, and then you can do your various and all conditions, and then you'd hit, no, actually you'd hit here, and then you'd hit the recount and save, so you can actually see how many people are going to be in your population, what the remainder will be. That's filtered out from that population. Once that's done, you'd hit save and then execute that for publishing. So once this is done, you get that pushed into either Marketing Cloud or Sales Cloud in there, and then classic Marketing Cloud in, and as Philip was showing you before, in Journey Builder, you've got the ability to take a source data, so you'd have one source coming in from your CDP system, and then you would execute on that. Now, provided you have got a way in which you've mapped the customer data over, whether that's a contact ID, whether that's a loyalty ID, those data would flow back into the platform here, and then you begin to start going through that whole segmentation process again. So effectively, this becomes a platform for the marketer to do a few things, right? What are those few things? Coming back here. Number one, it allows you to unify and identify who your individual segments and individuals are. It allows you to segment and enrich them. And you can see all of those attributes. It allows you to actively manage the consent. So your single source of truth to say, this person opt-in, what is his lifetime value, and so forth. And then it allows you to take those data points and those segments and push that down into a marketing platform like Salesforce's Marketing Cloud for execution on various channels. And then finally, the Data Armor platform allows you to piece all of that together into an analytics point of view. And we'll share these slides with you so you've got access to what these different capabilities are. And what is the next set of roadmap for the platform? The question that was asked, I forget who asked that, it's bridging that unknown and known data, being able to get some of the AI capabilities coming into the platform, and also the APIs. That's the strongest part of the platform, being able to stream data points in and out of the platform to be able to look at the CDP solution as a central repository for that golden record, but also the execution system of engagement in real time, knowing what is the next best offer, next best action for that customer. With that, I will pause, take any questions, or hand you back to Ali.
Thanks very much, Deepak. That was incredible. Guys, anyone got any questions for Deepak before we hand it over to Pavan? Oh, there is pricing.
Pricing. Who asked that question? There's an offer on today. Buy one, get one free. So get in touch with me right after. But jokes aside, the pricing for this is not easy to explain in 5 minutes. So absolutely happy for another call down the line for me to walk you through, again, the way Salesforce pricing works. There's so many different variables that come into this. Have you been a Salesforce customer? How can we best help you? So it's in the context of, is there actually some value in making sure that we can give you the CDP solution now, or is it something that you take on maybe 3-4 months down the line? That's another really important thing. This may look like the new shiny toy, and it may be that you'd all want to jump in headfirst into this. My personal take on this as a specialist, as a consultant, is work with us so that we can define a roadmap in how you can get to where it needs to be, rather than saying we're going to achieve all of this on day one. This is not going to happen on day one, people. I can tell you that. So pricing, longer term question, but more importantly, let's discuss and see whether this is the right solution for you first.
Great, thanks, David. I've got actually a question for you. In terms of having this enabled on your account, what are the prerequisites? What SKUs are mandatory for this to work?
I think it's fairly straightforward, Ali. You've got your Marketing Cloud platform, and if you want to connect with Marketing Cloud, it's nothing more than out-of-the-box connectors. So the wizards that you saw where you'd hit next, username, password, defining your business units, that's all it is. The same thing with Service Cloud as well. The moment you've got admin access and you can define what levels of attributes and data models that you can bring into the CDP, you've got a view in which you can build it out into that common information model. So what do you need to have in place? You need to have Marketing Cloud in place, step one. You would probably need to have Sales and Service Cloud so you can bring in other data sources and begin to build that unified view. But more importantly, for me, what you would need to have is a vision and a strategy of what you actually want to be doing with the CDP, not because it's a new shiny product, but what is the goals that I'm trying to achieve with this? So I would probably start to think about it backwards, looking at here and then working backwards. So what are the KPIs that I'm trying to measure? It could be better NPS score. It could be better website visits. It could be better open rates and click rates. And then work backwards into what are the sources that can give you those information, right? So for better open rates, it may be that you would need the website, you would need customer service and marketing. For better email conversions, you may just need website and email coming in. So I'd say work backwards based on your KPIs, and then define what your data sources are, and then make sure you've got the internal capability for your team to be able to support the rolling out of the platform like this. Again, I'm guessing 4C, you guys have capabilities in rolling something like this out, Ali.
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, that kind of answers Ranjit's question, is what is the typical implementation time that it takes? So we do have lots of questions coming through. Okay, so Ranjit asked, can the implementation be done by a partner or Salesforce? So to answer that question, Ranjit, no, a partner can configure it. Implementation time frame, it depends on the requirements. I mean, Deepak, do you have much experience in terms of time frame for implementation?
Yes, I can talk to that, Ranjit. So the question is, how long do you have in order to hit your KPIs? And I'd work backwards from that. The reason why I say that is because there's so many different moving parts to this. There's no way that we can say the project is complete. And typically this project will be an ongoing project, especially when you start to think about a golden record and a single view of your customer. Because you're going to have sources of data coming in. So classic MDM, single view of your customer, it's an ongoing project. It'll never finish. So the only way you can measure the success of a project like this is if you have a KPI, which is either increase open rates, click rates, and then work backwards into here are the 1 or 2 things that I need to do. So unfortunately, like with everything, there's no clear answer. But typically for you to get up and running with a platform like this, it'll be weeks and maybe into a month, 2 months, rather than years.
Great, thanks, Deepak. We do have another question. We talk a lot about C360 and having uniform customer data across multiple platforms, given our cross-cloud architecture. So would Audience Studio become mandatory for customers who want the true C360 experience?
I'm going to say no to that because there's nothing that's mandatory. The way Salesforce has always evolved technology and the capabilities to the point of sometimes it being complex is this modular approach. You pick and choose what is actually important for you as a business. Just like Marketing Cloud, but do you need email? Do you need SMS? Same set of capabilities here. The Audience Studio, for the people who are not familiar with it, is our DMP platform. It's responsible for bringing in cookies, anonymous data, and unifying that together. right? So in order for a business to truly deliver everything that you know about that customer in an experience, yes, the anonymous data would need to come in, but would that be naturally Salesforce's Audience Studio? Well, it is Salesforce, so there's going to be a natural extension of our platform and the capabilities. But there's partnerships that we have with the likes of Google Analytics, exclusive partnerships that we have where Google Analytics would be able to give you cookie data into Salesforce natively. So technically, you can send an email to a cookie. Now, that is without the DMP platform. Then you've got Interaction Studio that can do some of these capabilities as well. So I think the answer to that question is no. The longer term vision is some of these capabilities would merge into a platform and then they would be optional for the customers. Well, at least that's how I see it.
Great. Thanks so much, Deepak. Over to you, Pavan. Sorry, Pavan, you only have 10 minutes before the end of this meeting. I think that's more than enough for you, right?
That's more than enough for me to wow you with some cool capabilities that I've developed in the platform. All right. Give me a second, share my screen. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen by now. Essentially, what I'm going to be talking to you about today is an application that I developed alongside a colleague of mine, Nick Zapponi, here at Salesforce. It's a Lightning Web Component that gives you visibility into customer journeys within the Sales Cloud platform. So you think about any of you that have both Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud. You're going to be often sending out customer communications via Marketing Cloud. You're going to be creating journeys within Journey Builder. You're going to be injecting audiences into those journeys. On the Sales Cloud side, it would be very useful for you to get insight into which journeys a specific customer is on. And that's exactly the problem we tackled when we were creating this Lightning Web Component. So you think about a typical scenario like I just mentioned. On the Sales Cloud side, you're going to be having your service agents that are taking a look at cases within Service Cloud. You're going to have sales reps that are constantly in the app, taking a look at opportunities and contacts. And service agents, they have little to no knowledge of what communications a customer has received or they're due to receive. You think about a scenario where customers opened up a case, they might have had a negative experience with the brand. You don't necessarily want them to be receiving an onslaught of communications in that case, or at least you want the customer service agent to have some insight into the types of communications that they might be receiving from the Marketing Cloud. And if you think about the experience for a sales rep, they don't have insight into what nurturing campaigns a lead might be on at any given time. And nobody in the business can easily stop these communications, possibly resulting in a poor customer experience. Again, if you're a customer that's having a negative experience with the brand at the time, you don't necessarily want to be receiving promotional offers day in and day out from the brand based on your current status within your journey with that brand. So what we've done is we've created a Lightning Web Component, like I mentioned, that will show you which marketing journeys a customer is on. So it pulls in the data in real time from Marketing Cloud to give you a list of all of the journeys a customer is currently on, along with which version of the journeys that customer is currently on. And if it's appropriate, if you give the users appropriate permissions, they can also remove them from any one of those journeys directly within the Sales Cloud canvas. So what this does is it provides insight to sales reps and service agents to make better decisions. It can improve conversion rates and renewals by providing a better customer experience. And it gives you and your sales reps and service agents the ability to take control of the customer experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in to the platform and show you what this looks like. So to get up and running with this, it's pretty straightforward. You go into the App Exchange and you search for Marketing Cloud Journeys for Salesforce. You hit the Get It Now button. It's free, which is great. And it's going to be installed into your Sales Cloud org. What it looks like once you install it into your org is you'll have a little widget over here that shows you marketing journeys. And for this individual, for this contact, you can see that this person is on no journeys at this point. You can easily install this widget onto the contact page layout, a leads page layout, or an accounts page layout. Within Marketing Cloud, you go as normal, you create your customer journeys, you inject customers into a journey. It doesn't matter what the entry sources. It can be a data extension. It can be an API trigger. It can be cloud pages. Once customers are in that journey and you have a list of customers in there, what you can do is go back into your Sales Cloud instance, and then you'll see whenever the page is loaded, it's going to reach out to Marketing Cloud. It's going to ask Marketing Cloud, give me a list of all of the journeys that this current customer is on, and then you're going to see a list of the current journeys this customer is in. Like I mentioned, you can see you have the option to stop and eject a customer from any one of these journeys. What you can also do is select the drop down and stop or remove a customer from all of the current journeys that they're currently in. And you can also see which version of a journey they're currently in. So you can see for the Lightning Adventures journey, this customer is in more than one version of it, version 15 and 16. So you get a view into all of the journeys that a customer is in. In order to get up and running with this, once you've actually installed the managed package, it's very straightforward. You click on the setup option, you hit the edit page button, and then what you can do is you can just drag and drop this component onto the canvas. So it's going to be listed under your managed packages. So under the managed packages, you'll have the Marketing Cloud Journeys component. You drag and drop that onto the canvas anywhere you want. And then in terms of setting it up, it's quite easy. You need to select the field that contains the contact key. So within Marketing Cloud, we have this concept of a contact key, which uniquely identifies a customer. And you choose which field on the Sales Cloud data model is related to the Marketing Cloud contact key. So, it might be your contact ID, which is the Salesforce identifier for a contact or an account or a lead. It might be another field. In this case, you can see I'm taking a look at the email field, and I'm saying the email field is the field that uses the contact key within Sales Cloud. And then when it reaches out to Marketing Cloud, it says, take a look at this individual contact key. So the email address that I have here within Sales Cloud, and return a list of all of the current journeys that a customer is currently on. And then we also have the option to allow you to eject contacts from a journey. So you can selectively choose whether or not you want a customer to be, whether or not you want your sales or service agents to be able to remove a customer from your journeys, or you just want to give them visibility into which journeys they're currently in. So in terms of setup, quite straightforward to get up and running with this. And in terms of things that you need to be aware of, what this component will do is it'll only show you the journeys that a customer is currently in. So they actively need to be in those journeys in order to get that visibility. You think about a journey like a single send journey. A single send journey will immediately send out a message, whether that be an email, an SMS, or a push message, and immediately remove them from those journeys. So if you're creating single send journeys, you're not going to see your customer within those journeys. If you're creating journeys that immediately send a message and remove those customers from that journey after a minute, again, you're not going to see them. But in cases where you have a long-running journey, those are cases where you're going to see the component really shine and give you visibility into which journeys your customers are currently in. The source code is publicly available as well, in case you'd like to take a peek. So you can take a look at the source code. You can modify it if you want. You can add this to more page layouts if you so choose to. Completely available for you to do that. If you take a look at the page on the App Exchange, you can see a link to the GitHub repository. So you can go ahead and browse the source code if you want. And like I mentioned, you can choose to select your users to view and remove people from journeys, or they can only view which journeys a customer is currently in if you want to limit their ability to remove customers from journeys. So I know that was quite quick. Best way to get up and running with this, install it from the App Exchange into your org. Like I mentioned, it's free to install, quite easy to get up and running with. And I hope it's useful for you and your company to get visibility into your marketing communications within your Sales Cloud org. Thanks. Any questions? Let me know.
Thank you very much, Pavan. We're right on time. Anybody have any questions for Pavan?
Yes.
I'll take silence to mean I did a great job.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Philip, Deepak, and Pavan for joining us today and sharing the amazing content you have. I want to thank everyone who joined us on our first Marketing Cloud Dubai user group. And if you guys do want to continue receiving content and the recording that I'll be sharing today, please join the chatter group that I've pasted on the chat right at the top. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye. Cheers, Philip.
Bye, guys. Bye, Ali.